think that's working now. So, Ste, welcome to Germany.
Thanks for having me.
Is it your first time here?
I've been to Germany twice. Berlin about 10 years ago when I hosted an animation workshop, which is the other thing that I do, apart from music. But that was about 10 years ago, and then before that I went to Cologne, and that was about 20 years ago.
Oh.
When I was a very young man.
Okay. And this animation thing you're doing, how does it affect your music?
Well, I used to integrate it. On the first album I kind of integrated it a lot more with, I did a video for Smile, which was on the first, which was on Going Up, and just kind of web stuff and artwork for the singles and for the album stuff, all based on this character which I created in 3D, which was a character of me. But it's kind of wound down the animation work over the last sort of 3 years. So I hardly do any now.
What was there first, animation or music?
I made music before I did animation, but I studied fine art, which I finished that course in like the mid-90s. So it was kind of an art thing and a music thing going on here. And so it was a good way of combining the two things. I moved to Brighton and I'd done like the animation course, got involved with Skint Records making videos for them. And then TV commercial, I got an agent, and then we moved on to TV commercials and stuff. And at the same time I was still writing music. But I think I was dabbling with music a long time before animation.
Okay, and why did you start making your own music?
I'm not sure really. I was always just a fan of music, and I just and especially the sampling thing, because I was always into hip hop and all that kind of and really got into the sampling and sort of finding loops and stuff. And I started off, I mean this must have been 1987 or something. My brother had this little keyboard, this little Casio keyboard with a sampler, and you'd sample like 2 seconds of time on it. So you would play a record back really fast and sample, and then you could pitch it down and put together little things like that. I found out like last week there was like this interview with the guy from De La Soul, the DJ from De La Soul. That was the first keyboard he had as well at around the same time. So I was kind of on the right track. But I don't, why, I don't know, because I guess it was just there and I just thought I'd give it a go. And it kind of worked, and then it's taken me kind of, 20 years to get to this point.
Okay. Let's see here. Do you sing a lot on your own?
Do I sing?
Yeah.
I've started to sing. I did a bit of singing on the second album, because Lee, who sings on the album quite a lot, because I'd write all the words, I'd write all the lyrics, and I'd write all the melody and the lyrics, and I'd give them to Lee and say, can you sing this? Initially it was a case of we'd just demo it with Lee, but then it kind of, after we sort of finished the song, and I was like, I quite like it how it is. But he would kind of go, well, why don't you try? But then I've got really nasally kind of voice, but I'm trying to work that out. I'm going to try and work this out. And so for the third album, I've started doing demos where I've started recording. I've learned quite a lot about recording vocals through working with Lee, and I'm going to stick to that as a plan, because it kind of makes sense. If I write the words and I write the melodies, I should try and sing it. Like a busker. I should be more like a busker than a producer, where you get people in to sing your songs for you. I'd rather do that, I think.
There's someone, if you could pick anyone in the whole world as a singer, which one would you love to have as a singer?
Me. if I could find my voice. I don't know, I get asked that quite a lot, and I'm kind of, because of where I'm from and what I do, I think much more in terms of the song. It's the song and it's the songwriter that's a big deal. But if you get the right voice with the right song, it can be perfect. So I'm kind of a songwriter, so I don't, obviously there's kind of, so I'd hold in, people like Burt Bacharach in higher esteem than, say, who can I say, Shirley Bassey, because
She's still alive.
yeah, she's still alive, she's still going, Shirley's still going, because he kind of wrote the song, and even though she's got a great voice, he kind of wrote this song and he had the melody. It's really hard. It's like the Oasis thing. It's like Noel writes the great songs and Liam's a really good singer, and you put them together and it's great. But I don't know which one comes first. Well, the song comes first. So I'm always a bit, I don't know, stick a pin in kind of about 20 vocalists, including, I don't know, Stevie Wonder, but then he's not as good as he used to be. I don't know.
Okay, so let's see. So what inspires you? When do you usually get your epiphany for a new song?
It's either really early in the morning or really late at night when I'm drunk. When there's both of those times are kind of when there's nothing. Your head is you kind of let go of everything, because you wake up and you're not thinking of anything. Like at 5 a.m, perfect time to write lyrics, because you've just woken up and there's nothing else in there, and you can actually just get on with it and not feel under pressure. Don't put the TV on, don't let anything else in. And when you're drunk, you just don't care, do you? You're just like, oh, fucking what?
I can understand that. It's to feel free.
Yeah.
No pressure, like you say. And so, do you have a device? Do you sing, or do you take a melody into your phone, or?
I do. Yeah. I do occasionally, and kind of, I might have a melody going around in my head, and you're just waiting for words to stick to the melody and to find a hook. And that can take months. It can take minutes, and then it can take months or years. And I've got this track at the minute which I've.
And when you think about the track, do you when you start working on it in your studio, do you hear all the sounds directly, or does it come while you're doing the process?
It's a bit of both, really. Sometimes they just write themselves. Like you put something down and go, right, that's going to sound really good if there's some horns there. That's going to sound better. And sometimes it's going to be better if you take things out, and then sometimes it's a case of this needs something else, but I don't know what. And so you just start playing about with a piano, and then la 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 no,
Were you good at music when you?
No, I can't play anything.
Yeah.
I just sampled things. I just started off by sampling things, and then that kind of developed got more into melody.
And are you a good dancer?
I'm a wicked dancer. One of the best. You ask my girlfriend, she loves watching me dance. It's so true. It's so true. Don't apologise, honestly.
No, because you're doing music which is very, very happy and dancey, and I once read also that your music is a bit contrary to yourself.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why it turns out the way that it does. It's just you hear things. I just find some samples that just really stick, and they always seem to be in a certain chord and saying stuff about the sun or the sunshine or smiling. But it's not. I mean, I've kind of readdressed that on the second album. I think there's a bit more reflective kind of stuff on the second album, and it tends to go a bit deeper than that, just because I wrote all the lyrics, the majority of the lyrics for it. So you get a bit more of me out of that, I think, from kind of pop stuff to kind of more reflective sort of stuff, I think.
Have you ever remixed for someone else?
Yeah, a few people, but I don't think anything's been used yet. There's one that's coming out this month by a guy called Benji Boko, who's a DJ, and he's got an album out on True Thoughts. I did a remix for. We did like a swap. I did one for Noel Gallagher last year, but that didn't get used. Oh, it's not being used yet. I don't know what's happening. It's kind of one of them things where you do it and then maybe 6 months time they go, oh yeah, we're going to put it out as a white label 12-inch thing, or I don't know, but we'll see.
And how long did the process for Hotel Radio go on for, from the first song to the master? It
was about 3 years. It should have been 2, but it just took 3 years. Actually, from it being finished to it getting mastered, we had to. There was a lot of chopping and changing right at the end with the final song that's on the album, "Take Care of Yourself." We had to redo the vocal. We had to actually re-record it because it sounded too much like another song. So publishing-wise, somebody said, "Sounds a bit like what was it, Sweet Home Alabama?" And I was like, "Oh God, it does." And it didn't intend. I didn't intend for it to sound like that. But somebody said, "If you listen to it." So I had to go back and rewrite the song, rewrite all the lyrics and everything, and then get that re-sung. And it was Jen who did the Whistler, and then the label didn't like her vocal on it. They said it's too high. It sounds like it's a little bit too high for her. She's straining a bit. You need to? And that kind of took 3 months, and then the mixing took another 3 months. And there was all kinds of toing and froing and more kind of stopping and starting, and that just added another year on. It's a bit annoying.
So was it easier with going up?
No, you see, that took 3 years as well, because with going up was a different kind of process, because it was about re-recording samples. So I owned the master recordings of everything, and we didn't lose anything on that side, because that would have been really expensive. But in the process of actually re-recording samples with Lee, I kind of learned that he was really good at being able to take an idea and run with it. And so the second album was us sat in the studio, and instead of, we kind of start with a few samples as ideas and then get rid of the samples, and we'd end up with our own song.
And how did you come to Laura?
Well, she'd done a lot of work with Lee a couple of years before. Lee's kind of this multi-talented guy who can pick up anything and play anything, and he gets a lot of vocalists in. He does a lot of work for TV adverts, and he produced a few tracks for Laura, and she'd come in and sing on some of the advert stuff. And I'd seen her out and about doing gigs in Brighton and stuff. She's got an amazing kind of soul voice. And so it was really easy just to get her in and just to do it. And the same with Jen as well. She worked in the same building where the studio was. She lived like just upstairs, just worked upstairs. And she just came down. And I just heard some of her stuff that she'd done with Lee. And
so just called and said, "Can you come down 10?"
Yeah, just come down in your lunch break, and we'll do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or after work, and she'd just come down, you're right.
It sounds nice. I think we have a lot of...
I thought we were just getting started.
Yeah? It's okay. Telefonering, do you like that?
Ja,
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's all right. I love talking about me. It's my favourite subject.